How to Get Out of Debt Sluggishness. 8 Steps to Financial Freedom. Credit Card Facts. Debt is not a disease, but if left untreated, it kills. It kills your peace. It kills your sleep. It kills your freedom. And slowly, quietly, it kills the person you could have become. Most people believe debt is normal. They say, everyone has debt. It's just how life works. They look around and see friends financing cars they can't afford, buying homes with 30-year mortgages they'll never pay off early, and swiping credit cards like it's free money. And because everyone else is doing it, they convince themselves it's okay. But here's the truth they don't tell you. Debt is not normal. Debt is not inevitable, and debt is absolutely not a tool for building wealth, unless you're the bank. Real financial freedom is not about having more money. It's about owing less. It's the calm that comes from knowing no bank owns a piece of your life. It's the steady confidence that if everything fell apart tomorrow, you wouldn't be buried under payments you can't make. And the highest form of wealth? It's this. When no bill shakes you, when no unexpected expense provokes you, and when no creditor controls you. Think about the average household today. In many developed countries, the average household carries over $90,000 in debt. Mortgages, car loans, student loans, credit cards. In the United States alone, total credit card debt recently surpassed $1 trillion. The average credit card interest rate? Around 20% annually. Some cards go even higher, 25%, 28%, even 30%. Let that sink in. If you carry a $10,000 balance on a credit card with 20% interest and only make minimum payments, you'll be paying for over 20 years. And by the time you're done, you won't have paid $10,000. You'll have paid nearly $25,000. That's not financial planning. That's financial suicide. Most people fall into the minimum payment trap without even realizing it. They think, I'm being responsible, I'm making my payments. But every month, they're barely covering the interest while the principal stays untouched. And then life happens. A car breaks down, a medical bill arrives, an emergency pops up. And instead of having savings, they reach for the credit card again.
New debt piles on top of old debt. The cycle repeats, and they wonder why they never get ahead. But here's the shift. Getting out of debt is not a money problem. It's a discipline problem. You don't need to earn 6 figures to become debt-free. You need clarity. You need a plan. And you need the courage to change the financial habits that got you here in the first place. In this audiobook, we will walk through 8 powerful steps that will take you from the suffocating weight of debt to the calm freedom of financial independence. You will learn the brutal truths about credit cards and consumer loans that banks don't want you to know, how to face your debt without shame and take full control of your financial reality, why building a small emergency fund comes before paying off debt, and how it protects you from falling back into the trap. The Debt Snowball Method, a proven strategy to eliminate debt step by step, starting with quick wins that build unstoppable momentum. How to break the spending habits that keep you broke even when your income rises. Strategies to increase your income so you can attack debt faster without sacrificing your sanity. How to control your credit cards instead of letting them control you. And finally, how to live as if you owe no one, because that's when true wealth begins. Each chapter will give you actionable steps, real-world examples, and financial truths that will shift the way you think about money forever. This is not about getting rich quick. This is about getting free, permanently. So take a deep breath, face the truth, and prepare to step into the financially free version of yourself. Let's begin. Chapter 1. understand the brutal truth about credit cards and consumer loans. Most people use credit cards without understanding how they actually work. They see a piece of plastic that lets them buy things now and pay later. They see rewards points, cashback offers, and convenient monthly payments. What they don't see is the trap being set beneath their feet. Let me be clear. Credit cards are not evil, but they are designed to make you poor if you don't understand the game. So let's break down the math that banks hope you'll never calculate.
How credit cards actually work. When you see a credit card advertised with low monthly interest, it sounds harmless. Maybe 2.5% per month, maybe 3.99%. You think, that's not so bad. I can handle 3% a month. But here's what they don't tell you in bold letters. Monthly interest compounds. And when you do the real math, that innocent-looking 3.99% per month becomes nearly 58% per year. Let me show you how this destroys wealth. Imagine you have a $10,000 balance on a credit card with 20% annual interest. You decide to make only the minimum payment each month, usually around 2 to 3% of the balance. Here's what happens. If you pay just the minimum, it will take you over 20 years to pay off that $10,000. And by the time you're done, you won't have paid $10,000, you'll have paid close to $25,000, sometimes more depending on the terms. That's $15,000 in interest, gone, burned, handed over to the bank for absolutely nothing in return. Think about that. You bought a $10,000 item, but you actually paid $25,000 for it. That's not convenience. That's financial slow death. The minimum payment trap. This is where most people lose the game. The credit card statement arrives. You see the balance. It's high, maybe uncomfortably high. But then you see that small, friendly number at the bottom. Minimum payment due $150. You think, okay, I can afford $150, I'll just pay that this month and catch up later. But here's the problem. That $150 barely covers the interest. Almost nothing goes toward the actual debt. So next month your balance is nearly the same, and the month after that, and the month after that. Years pass. You've made hundreds of payments. You've handed over thousands of dollars, but you still owe almost as much as you did when you started. That's not an accident. That's the design. Banks make billions from people who think they're being responsible by making minimum payments. You're not falling behind. You're staying exactly where they want you, in debt, forever paying, never free.
Consumer loans versus credit cards. Which is more dangerous? People often ask, should I take a personal loan to pay off my credit card? Here's the truth. Consumer loans and credit cards are both traps, but they work differently. A consumer loan gives you a lump sum with a fixed interest rate and a fixed repayment schedule. You know exactly how much you'll pay each month and you know when it will end. The interest is usually lower than credit cards, maybe 10 to 15% annually instead of 20 to 30%. A credit card, on the other hand, is a revolving line of credit. You can keep borrowing as long as you stay under your limit. The interest is higher, and there's no fixed end date. You could be paying forever if you only make minimums. So which is worse? Credit cards are more dangerous because they enable continuous borrowing. Even if you're trying to pay it off, one emergency or 1 weak moment can send you right back into debt. With a loan, once it's paid, it's done. But here's the real danger. Using a loan to pay off a credit card only works if you close the credit card and change your habits. If you don't, you'll pay off the card with the loan, then max out the card again, and now you have 2 debts instead of 1. That's how people drown. How banks make money from your debt. Banks are not your friends. They are businesses, and their most profitable product is your debt. Every time you carry a balance, they win. Every time you make a late payment, they charge a fee and win again. Every time you go over your limit, another fee, another win. They don't want you to pay off your debt quickly. They want you to pay slowly, month after month, year after year, feeding them interest the entire time. Think about it. If everyone paid off their credit cards in full every month, credit card companies would collapse. Their profits depend on people staying in debt. That's why they offer rewards points, cash back, and special promotions. Those perks are designed to keep you swiping, to make you feel good about spending, to keep you hooked. And it works. The psychological trap. I don't see it, so I don't feel it. Here's one of the most dangerous things about credit cards. You don't feel the pain of spending. When you hand over cash, your brain registers loss. You physically see the money leave your hand. It hurts a little. That pain is useful. It makes you think twice before spending. But when you swipe a card, nothing. No pain, no loss, just a quick beep and you're done. Studies show that people spend 12 to 18% more when using credit cards compared to cash. Why? Because plastic doesn't feel real.
You're not handing over money. You're just swiping a piece of plastic. Your brain doesn't connect that swipe to the financial consequences that will come later. That's the trap. By the time you see the bill, the pain is delayed, the damage is done, and you're already thinking about next month's minimum payment instead of the long-term cost. The real cost. What that phone actually costs you. Let's do a quick reality check. Say you buy a $1,200 smartphone on your credit card. You can't afford to pay it off right away, so you make minimum payments. With 20% interest and minimum payments, that $1,200 phone will actually cost you around $2,400 by the time you finish paying it off, assuming you don't buy anything else on that card. That's double. You didn't buy a $1,200 phone. You bought a $2,400 phone. But it gets worse. By the time you've paid it off, that phone is outdated, broken, or replaced. You spent $2,400 on something that's now worth $0. That's not smart spending. That's financial self-destruction. Now multiply that by every purchase you've ever made on credit. Every dinner, every vacation, every pair of shoes, every impulse buy. How much have you really paid? Challenge. Pull out your statements and face the truth. Here's your first real challenge in this audiobook. Pull out every credit card statement from the last 12 months. If you've thrown them away, log in online and download them. Now add up every single interest charge and fee you've paid. Don't estimate, don't guess, actually calculate it. That number you see, that's how much wealth you handed over to the bank for nothing. No investment, no asset, just interest on things you've already consumed. Most people are shocked when they see it. $500, $1,000, $3,000. Some people discover they've paid $5,000 plus in a single year just in interest and fees. That's money that could have been savings. That's money that could have been invested. That's money that could have bought you freedom. Instead, it bought the bank a bigger profit margin. Now ask yourself, how much longer are you willing to play this game? Credit cards and consumer loans are not tools for building wealth. They are tools for transferring your wealth to someone else. The brutal truth is this: if you don't understand how credit works, you will spend your entire life working for the bank instead of working for yourself. But now you know. Now you see the trap. And that awareness is the first step towards breaking free.
Chapter 2. Face your debt and accept the truth. The hardest step in getting out of debt is not paying it off. It's admitting you have it. Most people live in denial. They tell themselves comfortable lies. I'm not really in debt, I just have a temporary cash flow issue. Or, everyone has credit card balances, it's normal. Or, I'll pay it off when I get my bonus. But here's the truth. If you owe money, you are in debt. And until you face that reality, you will never be free. Denial is expensive. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you making minimum payments while telling yourself everything is fine. It keeps you swiping cards while convincing yourself you're in control. But deep down, you know. You know every time you check your bank account with anxiety. You know every time a bill arrives and your heart sinks. You know every time you avoid opening credit card statements because you don't want to see the number. That feeling? That's not normal. That's not how financially free people live. The lie you tell yourself. Let's be honest. When someone asks if you're in debt, what do you say? Not really, just normal stuff. Credit cards, car payment, nothing serious. But what does nothing serious mean? Does it mean you could pay it all off tomorrow if you wanted to? Does it mean you sleep peacefully at night knowing you're in control? Or does it mean you've gotten so used to being in debt that it doesn't even register as a problem anymore? Here's the reality check. If you can't pay off all your non-mortgage debt in the next 30 days, you are in debt. Not temporarily short on cash, in debt. And that's okay, but only if you stop lying to yourself about it. Create your financial inventory. Right now, you're going to do something most people avoid their entire lives. You're going to write down every single debt you owe. Not estimate, not guess. Actually write it down.
Grab a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. List every debt. Credit card 1, balance, interest rate, minimum payment. Credit card 2, balance, interest rate, minimum payment. Personal loan, balance, interest rate, monthly payment. Car loan, balance, interest rate, monthly payment. Student loan, balance, interest rate, monthly payment. Any other debt, medical bills, family loans, store credit. Now, add it all up. That number you see, that's your total debt. For most people, this is the first time they've ever seen the full picture, and it's terrifying. Maybe it's $15,000. Maybe it's $50,000. Maybe it's $100,000 or more. Whatever the number is, it's real, and now you know. Calculate your debt-to-income ratio. Here's a critical metric most people never check. Your debt-to-income ratio. This tells you how much of your income is being eaten by debt every month. Here's how to calculate it. Take your total monthly debt payments, not the total debt, just the monthly payments. Divide that by your gross monthly income before taxes. Multiply by 100. For example, let's say you earn $4,000 per month. Your debt payments are credit card minimums, $300, car payment, $400, student loan, $200, personal loan, $150. Total monthly debt payments, $1,050. Debt-to-income ratio, $1,050 divided by $4,000 multiplied by 100 equals 26.25%. That means over 26% of your income goes straight to debt before you even pay for food, rent, or savings. Here's the scale. Under 20%, manageable. 20 to 35%, strained. 35 to 50%, dangerous. Over 50%, financial crisis. If you're above 35%, you're not in temporary trouble, you're in a financial emergency. Real scenario, $35,000 in debt on a $4,000 monthly income. Let me paint a real picture. Imagine someone with $35,000 in total debt spread across 3 credit cards, 1 car loan, and 1 personal loan. They earn $4,000 per month.
Their minimum payments total $1,200 per month, 30% of their income. After debt payments, they have $2,800 left. Rent is $1,200, utilities, phone, internet, $300, groceries and gas, $600. That leaves $700 for everything else: emergencies, healthcare, repairs, savings. But here's the problem. Life happens. The car breaks down, a medical bill arrives, an unexpected expense pops up. And because there's no cushion, they reach for the credit card again. New debt. The cycle continues. This person isn't lazy, they're not irresponsible. They're trapped in a system that makes it nearly impossible to get ahead. But once they face the numbers, once they see exactly where they stand, they can finally make a plan. Shame versus awareness. Accept without judgment. Let me be very clear about something. Being in debt does not make you a failure. It doesn't mean you're stupid, weak, or bad with money. It means you're human. It means you've made mistakes, faced challenges, or simply lived in a society that pushes debt as normal. But here's what separates people who escape debt from people who stay stuck. The ones who escape don't waste time on shame. They face the truth, accept it, and move forward with a plan. Shame keeps you hiding. Awareness sets you free. So when you see that total debt number, don't spiral into self-hate. Don't beat yourself up. Just acknowledge it. This is where I am. This is the truth. And now I can do something about it. That shift from denial to acceptance is where your power begins. The power that comes after facing the truth. Once you've written down every debt, once you've calculated your total, once you've faced the reality without flinching, something changes. You stop feeling like a victim. You stop feeling out of control. Because now you know the numbers. Now you see the battlefield. And now you can create a strategy. Before, the debt was this vague, scary cloud hanging over you. Now it's just math. And math can be solved. You move from, I'm drowning and I don't know what to do, to, I owe $42,000 and here's my plan to eliminate it in 3 years. That's the shift. That's the power. Challenge. Write it all down and face the number. Here's your challenge for this chapter. Take 15 minutes right now, not tomorrow, not next week, and create your debt inventory. Write down every debt, every balance, every interest rate, every minimum payment. Add it all up. See the total. Then sit with that number. Don't panic. Don't spiral. Just acknowledge it. Say it out loud if you need to. I owe amount, and I'm going to pay it off. That's the first step. Because you can't fight an enemy you won't look at. You can't escape a trap you refuse to acknowledge. But once you face it, once you write it down and own it, you take back control. And that control is the beginning of your financial freedom. Chapter 3. Build your emergency fund. Start small. Here's the paradox that stops most people. I'm drowning in debt. How can I possibly save money? It sounds backwards. You owe thousands, maybe tens of thousands. Every dollar should go toward paying that off, right? Wrong. Here's why building a small emergency fund comes before aggressively attacking debt. Because without an emergency fund, the next unexpected expense will push you right back into debt. Your car breaks down, your phone dies, a medical bill arrives, and because you have no safety net, you reach for the credit card again. New debt piles on top of old debt. All your progress vanishes. That's the trap. Your first goal, $1,000 to $1,500. You don't need 6 months of expenses saved right now. You need enough to handle life's small emergencies without falling back into debt. Start with $1,000. If your expenses are higher, aim for $1,500. This is your buffer, your shield, your first line of defense against financial chaos. Think of it this way.
This small fund protects all the debt payments you're about to make. Without it, one emergency will erase weeks of progress. How to find the money? You're thinking, I barely have money for bills. Where do I find $1,000? Here's how. 1. Save 10% of every paycheck. Before anything else, set aside 10%. If you earn $3,000 per month, that's $300. It adds up fast. 2. Cut one unnecessary expense. Cancel a subscription. Skip dining out for a month. Sell something you don't use. That's $100 to $300 right there. 3. Side income. Freelance. Drive for a rideshare. Sell old items. Every extra dollar goes into this fund. Example. If you save just $15 per day, skipping coffee, packing lunch, cutting small spending, that's $450 per month. In less than 3 months, you have $1,350 saved. It's not impossible, it's just intentional. This money is untouchable. Listen carefully. This emergency fund is not for paying off debt faster. It's not for treating yourself. It's not for anything except true emergencies. Not a sale, not a want, an emergency. Car repair? Yes. New shoes because yours are uncomfortable? No. This money sits in a separate account, untouched, waiting to protect you from life's surprises. The psychological power. Here's what happens once you have that $1,000 saved. You breathe differently. Before, every unexpected expense triggered panic. How will I pay for this? Now, you know the answer. I have my emergency fund. You stop reaching for the credit card. You stop falling back into old patterns. You start feeling like you're in control. That feeling, that's the beginning of financial freedom.
Challenge. Save your first $1,000 this month. Here's your challenge. In the next 30 days, find $1,000 and put it in a separate savings account. Sell something. Cut spending. Work extra hours. Do whatever it takes. This is your financial foundation. Build it first. Protect it fiercely. Because once you have this safety net, you can attack your debt without fear. And that's when real progress begins. Chapter 4. The Debt Snowball Method. Now that you've faced your debt and built your emergency fund, it's time to attack. There are 2 main strategies for paying off debt: the snowball method and the avalanche method. The avalanche focuses on paying off the highest interest rate debt first. Mathematically, it saves you the most money. The snowball focuses on paying off the smallest debt first. Psychologically, it gives you the fastest wins. Here's the truth. Personal finance is more psychology than math. And the snowball method works because it builds momentum fast. How the debt snowball works. Step 1. List all your debts from smallest balance to largest. Ignore interest rates for now. Just focus on the size of the debt. Step 2. Make minimum payments on everything except the smallest debt. Step 3. Throw every extra dollar you have at that smallest debt until it's gone. Step 4. Once the smallest debt is paid off, take the money you were paying on it and add it to the minimum payment of the next smallest debt. Step 5. Repeat until every debt is eliminated. Why it works. The power of quick wins. Imagine you have 5 debts. Credit card 1, $800. Credit card 2, $2,500. Personal loan, $5,000. Car loan, $12,000. Student loan, $18,000. Total, $38,300. If you focus on paying off that $800 credit card first, you could knock it out in 2 to 3 months. Suddenly, one debt is gone. You feel it. You see progress. That small win gives you motivation. It proves you can do this. And that momentum carries you to the next debt. But if you tried to tackle the $18,000 student loan first, you'd be grinding for years without seeing a single debt disappear. Most people quit before they finish. That's why the snowball works. It's not about math. It's about psychology. Real scenario, debt-free in 18 months. Let's walk through a real example. You have credit card 1, $600, minimum $25 per month. Credit card 2, $2,000, minimum $60 per month. Credit card 3, $4,500, minimum $120 per month. Personal loan, $8,000, minimum $250 per month. Total debt, $15,100, total minimum payments, $455 a month. You find an extra $300 per month by cutting expenses and picking up side income. Now you have $755 per month to put toward debt. Month 1 and 2, you attack the $600 debt with $325 per month, $25 minimum plus $300 extra, paid off in 2 months. Month 3 to 6, you roll that $325 into the next debt. Now you're paying $385 per month on the $2,000 balance, $60 plus $325, paid off in 5 months. Month 7 to 12, you roll $385 into the $4,500 debt. Now you're paying $505 per month, $120 plus $385, paid off in 9 months. Month 13 to 18, you roll $505 into the $8,000 loan. Now you're paying $755 per month, $250 plus $505, paid off in 11 months. Total time, 18 months, debt-free. That's the power of the snowball. Each victory makes the next one faster. Challenge: rank your debts and attack. Here's your challenge. List all your debts from smallest to largest. Circle the smallest one. That's your target. For the next 30 days, throw every extra dollar at it. Cut one expense. Work one extra shift. Sell one thing you don't need. Focus everything on eliminating that first debt. Once it's gone, you'll feel unstoppable. And that feeling will carry you all the way to freedom. Chapter 5. Change your spending habits. You can pay off every debt you have, but if you don't change the habits that created the debt, you'll be right back where you started in a year. Debt is a symptom. The real disease is your spending habits. Most people think getting out of debt is about money. It's not. It's about behavior. It's about the small, unconscious choices you make every day that either build wealth or destroy it. So let's talk about the triggers that keep you broke. Spending triggers. What really makes you swipe? You don't spend randomly. You spend in response to something. Maybe it's stress. You had a hard day at work, so you treat yourself to dinner, new clothes, or something you don't need. Maybe it's FOMO, fear of missing out. Your friends are going out, buying things, posting their lives online. You don't want to feel left behind, so you spend to keep up. Or maybe it's social pressure. Someone asks why you're not upgrading your phone, your car, or your wardrobe. You feel judged, so you spend to prove you're doing fine. Or maybe it's boredom. You're scrolling online, an ad pops up, and suddenly you're buying something you didn't even know existed 5 minutes ago. These are spending triggers, and until you recognize them, they will control you.
The I deserve it trap. Here's one of the most dangerous lies people tell themselves. I work hard. I deserve this. You just survived a tough week. You feel exhausted, so you justify an expensive meal, a shopping spree, or a purchase you can't afford because you earned it. But here's the truth. Working hard doesn't mean you deserve to spend money you don't have. You deserve rest. You deserve peace. You deserve financial freedom. But you don't deserve debt disguised as a reward. Every time you say, I deserve it, and swipe your card, you're trading temporary pleasure for long-term stress. You're choosing to feel good now at the cost of feeling trapped later. That's not a reward. That's self-sabotage. The 30-day rule. Here's a simple strategy that will save you thousands. Before buying anything over $300, wait 30 days. That's it. Just wait. If you still want it in 30 days and you can afford it without debt, buy it. But most of the time, the urge will fade. You'll realize you didn't actually need it. It was just an impulse. This rule forces you to separate wants from needs. It kills impulse buying, and it gives you space to ask the most important question. Will this give me more time? Does it move me closer to financial freedom? Or does it just make me feel good for a moment before trapping me further in debt? A reliable car that gets you to work? That's worth it. A brand new luxury car to impress strangers? That's a trap. A skill course that increases your income? Worth it. Another pair of shoes you'll wear twice? Trap. Learn to measure purchases by their long-term value, not their short-term thrill. The cash envelope method. Here's an old-school trick that still works. Stop using cards. Use cash. Take your monthly budget and divide it into categories: groceries, gas, entertainment, dining out. Withdraw cash for each category and put it in separate envelopes. When the cash is gone, you're done spending in that category.
Why does this work? Because handing over physical cash creates psychological pain. You feel the loss. It makes you think twice. Digital cards disconnect you from reality. Cash keeps you honest. Try it for 1 month. You'll be shocked at how much less you spend. Real scenario: cutting $2,500 per month. Let's say you earn $6,000 per month and you're spending $5,000. You're barely saving, barely making progress on debt. Here's how you cut $2,500 in spending. Dining out, $800 to $300. Cook at home equals save $500. Subscriptions, $150 to $30. Cancel unused services equals save $120. Entertainment, $400 to $150. Free activities, less going out, equals save $250. Impulse shopping, $600 to $100. 30-day rule, cash envelopes, equals save $500. Transportation, $500 to $300. Carpool, less driving, equals save $200. Groceries, $700 to $500. Meal planning, bulk buying, equals save $200. Miscellaneous, $850 to $120. Cut unnecessary purchases, equals save $730. Total savings, $2,500. Now you're spending $2,500 per month instead of $5,000. That extra $2,500, it goes straight to debt and savings. This isn't deprivation. This is intentional living. You're choosing freedom over fleeting pleasure. Challenge: 30 days, 0 unnecessary spending. Here's your challenge. For the next 30 days, spend money only on absolute essentials: rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, debt payments. No dining out, no online shopping, no impulse buys. Nothing. Every time you feel the urge to spend, write it down instead. At the end of 30 days, look at that list. You'll realize 90% of those urges were just noise. This challenge will rewire your brain. It will show you that you don't need nearly as much as you think. And the money you save, that's your ticket out of debt. Debt ends when your habits change, so change them now. Chapter 6. Increase your income strategically. You can cut expenses all you want, but there's a limit to how much you can save. There is no limit to how much you can earn. Getting out of debt faster requires 2 things: spending less and earning more. You've learned how to control your spending. Now let's talk about increasing your income. Because here's the truth. The fastest way out of debt is not just cutting costs. It's adding income streams and directing every extra dollar toward freedom. 3 ways to increase your income.
Let's break this down into 3 realistic strategies that anyone can apply. 1. Negotiate a raise or promotion at your current job. Most people never ask for more money. They wait, hoping their boss will notice their hard work and reward them. That's a mistake. If you've been at your job for over a year, if you've taken on more responsibilities, if you've delivered results, you have leverage. Use it. Here's how to ask for a raise. Do your research. Know what people in your role earn in your city. Use salary websites, industry reports, or ask peers anonymously. Document your value. Write down everything you've accomplished in the last year. Projects completed, problems solved, money saved or earned for the company. Schedule a meeting. Don't ask casually. Request a formal meeting with your manager. Come prepared. Make your case confidently. Based on my research and the value I've brought to the team, I'd like to discuss a salary adjustment to specific amount. Here's why I believe this is fair. Be ready to negotiate. If they say no to the number, ask what it would take to get there. More responsibilities, a timeline. Get clarity. Even a 10% raise on a $50,000 salary is $5,000 more per year, over $400 per month. That's a massive boost to your debt payoff plan. Number 2, start a side hustle using your existing skills. You don't need a business degree or startup capital to make extra money. You just need to offer something people are willing to pay for. Think about what you're already good at. Can you write? Offer freelance copywriting, blog writing, or editing services. Can you design? Freelance graphic design, logo creation, or social media graphics. Can you teach? Tutor students online, offer language lessons, or teach a skill. Can you build or fix things? Handyman services, furniture assembly, car detailing. Can you organize? Help people declutter, plan events, or manage their schedules. The key is this: start small. Don't overthink it. Just offer one service to one person and go from there. Real example, freelance graphic design. Let's say you know basic design tools like Canva or Adobe. You offer logo design services on Fiverr or Upwork. You charge $150 per logo. If you land just 2 clients per week, that's $300. Over a month, that's $1,200 in extra income. Within 3 months, as you build reviews and reputation, you raise your rate to $250 per logo. Now you're earning $2,000 plus per month on the side. That's $2,000 every month going straight to debt. In 1 year, that's $24,000 in debt eliminated, just from side income. It's not a fantasy. People are doing this right now.
Challenge. Launch one side income stream this month. Here's your challenge. In the next 30 days, start one side hustle. Just one. Offer a service on a freelance platform. Sell something you made. Tutor someone. Walk dogs. Detail cars. Whatever matches your skills. Set a goal. Earn $500 this month from something other than your main job. Once you hit that goal, do it again next month and the month after. Before you know it, that side income becomes a powerful weapon in your fight against debt. You can't cut your way to wealth, but you can earn your way to freedom. Now go build it. Chapter 7. Take control of your credit cards. Credit cards are not the enemy, but they're like a weapon. In the right hands, they're useful. In the wrong hands, they destroy you. Most people treat credit cards like free money. They swipe without thinking. They carry balances. They make minimum payments. And they wonder why they're always broke. Here's the truth. Credit cards are tools, and tools only work if you control them. The moment they control you, you lose. So let's set some rules. Rule 1. Cut your credit limit in half. Right now, pick up your phone. call your bank and ask them to lower your credit limit by 50%. If your limit is $10,000, drop it to $5,000. If it's $5,000, drop it to $2,500. Yes, this will feel uncomfortable. You'll think, but what if I need it? That's the point. A high credit limit is not a safety net. It's a trap. It gives you permission to spend money you don't have. It makes debt feel easy. But when you lower your limit, you force yourself to be disciplined. You can't overspend if the limit won't allow it. This one action will save you thousands. Rule 2. Use only one credit card. How many credit cards do you have? 2, 3, 5? Here's what you're going to do. Keep one. Cut the rest. Physically cut them. Scissors through the middle. Don't just hide them in a drawer, destroy them. Why? Because every extra card is another temptation, another balance to track, another minimum payment, another way to fall back into debt. One card, that's it. And use it only for planned expenses that you can pay off immediately. If you're afraid of emergencies, remember, that's what your emergency fund is for, not credit cards.
Rule 3. Only spend what you can pay off this month. This is the golden rule. If you can't pay off your credit card balance in full at the end of the month, you can't afford what you're buying. No exceptions. Credit cards should be used for convenience, not financing. You swipe for groceries, gas, bills, things you were going to pay for anyway. And at the end of the month, you pay the full balance. Zero interest, zero debt, zero stress. The moment you start carrying a balance, you've lost control. Rule 4. Pay in full every month, never minimum. Let me be very clear. Minimum payments are financial suicide. If you make only minimum payments, you will be in debt for decades. You'll pay 2, 3, even 4 times the original amount in interest. That's not responsible. That's slow financial death. From now on, every month, you pay the full statement balance, not the minimum, the full amount. If you can't do that, it means you're spending too much. Cut back, adjust, but never, ever carry a balance. The installment trap. It's 12 months interest-free, so it's basically free money. No, it's not. When you buy something on installments, even if there's no interest, you're still committing future income to a past purchase. You're locking yourself into payments for months. And here's what happens. You buy a $1,200 phone on 12-month installments, $100 a month. Sounds easy, right? But then your laptop breaks, you need new tires, an emergency pops up. Suddenly that $100 installment you thought was no big deal is squeezing your budget. Multiply that by 3 or 4 installment purchases, and now you're paying $400 to $500 per month on things you've already consumed. That's not smart. That's trapped. If you can't buy it in cash or pay it off immediately, you can't afford it. Period. Real scenario. Forcing discipline by lowering your limit. Let's say you have a $10,000 credit limit. You've been spending $7,000 to $8,000 per month carrying balances, paying interest. You call the bank, you drop your limit to $3,000. Now you can't overspend even if you want to. You're forced to plan. You're forced to prioritize. You're forced to use cash or debit for non-essentials. At first, it's uncomfortable. You feel restricted. But after a month, you realize something powerful. You're spending less. You're thinking before every purchase. And your debt is finally going down instead of up. That discomfort, that's discipline being built.
The psychological game. Leave your card at home. Here's a simple trick that works. Stop carrying your credit card everywhere. Leave it at home, in a drawer, somewhere safe, but not accessible. When you go out, bring cash or a debit card. That's it. Why does this work? Because impulse spending requires easy access. If your credit card isn't in your wallet, you can't swipe it. You have to think. You have to plan. And that pause, that tiny moment of friction, is often enough to stop bad financial decisions. Try it for 30 days. You'll be shocked at how much less you spend. Challenge. Cut one card and lower your limit this week. Here's your challenge. This week, do two things. 1. Cut one credit card. Physically destroy it. If you only have one, skip this step. 2. Call your bank and lower your limit by 50%. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Do it anyway. These two actions will immediately reduce your ability to go deeper into debt. And that's exactly what you need. Credit cards aren't evil, but if you don't control them, they will control you. So take back control. Set the rules and follow them without exception. That's how you win. Conclusion. The debt-free version of you. Getting out of debt is possible. But let's be honest, it's not easy. It's not a quick fix. It's not a magic trick. It's not something you can do in 30 days by following some guru's secret formula. Getting out of debt is hard. It requires discipline. It requires sacrifice. It requires you to change habits that have been years in the making. But here's what I also know. Staying in debt is harder. Living with the constant weight of bills, the anxiety of minimum payments, the fear of one unexpected expense ruining everything. That's harder than any discipline you'll need to get free. So yes, getting out of debt is hard, but staying in debt is unbearable. And you've already proven you're strong enough to face it. You're here. You've listened. You've learned. Now it's time to act. The 8 steps that will set you free. Let's review the path you've just walked. Step 1. Understand the truth about credit cards and consumer loans. You learned how interest works, how minimum payments trap you, and how banks profit from your debt. Knowledge is power, and now you know the game.
Step 2. Face your debt and accept the truth. You stopped hiding. You wrote down every debt. You calculated your total. You faced the number without flinching. That took courage, and that courage is your foundation. Step 3. Build your emergency fund. You saved your first $1,000 to $1,500. This small buffer protects you from falling back into debt when life surprises you. It's your shield. Guard it fiercely. Step 4. Use the Debt Snowball Method. You learn to attack your smallest debt first, build momentum, and roll that payment into the next debt. Quick wins fuel discipline, and discipline creates freedom. Step 5. Change your spending habits. You identified your triggers. You stopped justifying unnecessary purchases. You implemented the 30-day rule and cash envelopes. You realized that debt ends when habits change. Step 6. Increase your income. You explored ways to earn more, negotiating raises, starting side hustles, building digital income. You discovered that cutting expenses has limits, but earning has none. Step 7. Take control of your credit cards. You lowered your limits. You cut extra cards. You committed to paying in full every month. You learned that credit cards are tools, not lifelines, and tools only work when you control them. Step 8. Live the principles daily. This isn't a one-time fix. This is a lifestyle. Every day, you choose discipline over impulse. Every month, you track progress. Every year, you look back and see how far you've come. These 8 steps are your roadmap. Follow them, and debt-free living is not just possible, it's inevitable. This is a journey, not a sprint. Here's what you need to understand. This will take time. If you have $20,000 in debt, you're not paying it off in 2 months. If you have $50,000, you're not done in 6 months. This is a 1 to 3 year journey depending on your debt load and income. And that's okay. Too many people quit because they expect instant results. They pay off $2,000 in the first month, then get discouraged when progress slows. But financial freedom is not built in days. It's built in consistent months and years of doing the right thing even when it's uncomfortable. Every payment you make is progress. Every month you stay disciplined is a victory. Every small win compounds into massive transformation. So be patient with yourself, trust the process, and keep moving forward.
Redefining wealth. Debt-free is the new rich. Society has lied to you about what wealth means. They tell you wealth is a big house, a new car, designer clothes, and luxury vacations. They show you influencers spending money they don't have to impress people they don't know. But here's the real definition of wealth. Wealth is owing nothing. Wealth is waking up knowing no bank, no creditor, no lender has a claim on your life. Wealth is saying no to things you can't afford without guilt or shame. Wealth is having options because you're not trapped by payments. Wealth is peace, calm, freedom. You don't need $1 million to be wealthy. You need 0 debt and enough savings to handle life without panic. That's real wealth, and it's within your reach. You are no longer a slave to debt. Let me tell you something powerful. The moment you decided to face your debt, you stopped being its slave. Debt only controls you when you ignore it, when you pretend it's not there, when you let it dictate your choices without fighting back. But you didn't do that. You faced it. You made a plan. You took action. And that means you're already winning. Yes, you still owe money. Yes, it will take time to pay off, but you are no longer passive. You are no longer a victim. You are in control now. And control is freedom. The ultimate truth about financial freedom. Here's what most people get wrong. They think financial freedom is about impressing others, about showing off wealth, about proving they've made it. But real financial freedom has nothing to do with what others think. Financial freedom is about owing no one, needing no one's approval, living life on your terms, not the bank's terms. It's about sleeping peacefully because no creditor can touch you. It's about making decisions based on what you want, not what you can afford on credit. It's about walking through life knowing that if everything fell apart tomorrow, you'd still be okay because you're not buried under debt. That kind of freedom doesn't come from earning more. It comes from owing less. And once you taste it, you'll never go back.
The hardest truth. Staying in debt is harder than getting out. Let me leave you with this. Escaping the debt trap is hard. It requires sacrifice. It requires saying no when others say yes. It requires discipline when the world rewards impulsiveness. But staying in debt? That's harder. Staying in debt means decades of stress. It means working longer hours just to make minimum payments. It means missing opportunities because you're financially trapped. It means living with fear, anxiety, and regret. So yes, getting out is hard, but staying in is unbearable. Choose hard now so life gets easier later. Or choose easy now and suffer forever. The choice is yours. Your final challenge. Take the first step today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Today. Right now, take one action. Call your bank and lower your credit limit. Write down your total debt and face the number. Transfer $50 into your emergency fund. Sign up for one freelance platform and offer a service. Cancel one subscription you don't need. Just one action. That's all it takes to start. Because here's the secret. Momentum doesn't come from big, dramatic changes. It comes from small, consistent actions repeated over time. Take the first step today. Then take another tomorrow, and another the day after. Before you know it, you'll look back and realize you've traveled miles. Now go and start your journey to freedom. You have the knowledge, you have the plan, you have the tools. The only thing left is action. So take a deep breath, face your debt without fear, and start walking the path to financial freedom. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Because on the other side of this journey is a version of you that is calm, confident, and completely free. A version of you that owes no one. A version of you that controls money instead of being controlled by it. That version is waiting. Now go and become it.